G'day everyone, welcome to Marc and Car's Porsche Talk, the podcast where we talk about all things Porsche. If you love air-cooled, water-cooled, rear-engine, front-engine or even mid-engine, there'll be something here for you. But most importantly, we'll talk to the people who are passionate about Porsche. I'm your host Marc from the YouTube channel Marc and Cars. Thank you for taking the time to listen or watch, and feel free to share any input, suggestions and ideas through the comments, reviews or message me. You find me on most social media platforms as Marc and Cars. Special thank you to today's podcast sponsors, Bowden's Own, Australian-made premium car care products. I use them, love them. Keep this little red thing behind me very shiny. You'll like them too. They're available at most auto stores here in Australia or around the world online. Just Google Bowden's Own. And Rec Watches. Rec are a Danish watch company that design and manufacture watches with an automotive theme. If you're a car nut, there's a good chance they make a watch using recycled parts from your favourite brand. I wear the 901 and it's made from recycled 911 parts. These world-class parts and movements to make the ultimate auto enthusiast watch. Check them out at recwatches.com. Today I'm joined by Nick from Oilstain Lab. Nick, thank you very much for joining me today.
Hi, good morning everyone. Thanks for having me.
Just complete transparency here. Nick and I spoke a week ago and some numbskull, that being me, didn't hit record. So I thought, let's do it again. And he was kind enough to give me his time again. I know how busy you are, Nick. So thank you very much.
No, it's good to do it. Let's do it. Should be fun.
Cool. So tell us about yourself. What is Oilstain Lab? Where did you start? What do you do?
Sure. Okay. Well, my name is Nikita Bryden. I'm one half of Oilstain Lab, so I run it with my twin brother here in Los Angeles, California, and we are kind of a boutique design studio, I guess you could call it that. We do a lot of sort of custom builds, but I think primarily we're known for our interesting little project, which is Half 11.
Yeah, well, it's certainly attracted my attention on social media. There's no doubt about that. I didn't know about your entity existing until it dropped into my feed one day, and I thought, "Ooh, what's that? I better talk to these guys."
Yeah, it's sort of been our I guess business card for what we do in a way. We're able to sort of showcase our storytelling portion, our design portion, obviously the building, the fabrication of it. We're so close to getting it running. A lot of people thought it was fake for a long time, but no, it's it's coming along, and should be running here shortly. So pretty excited about that.
Looking forward to hearing it and seeing it actually move under its own power.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty intense. It's not for the faint of heart. But yeah, let's. I can't wait. I mean, the exhaust, everything should be really cool. I'm cautiously optimistic that it'll be awesome.
Great here. You clearly got some 911/912 enthusiasm in the background behind you there. For listeners only, there's 3 cars of varying states of operation, it looks like, parked behind you in the workshop.
Yeah, so directly behind me, we've got our Marlboro kind of RS clone. It's a 1972 with a 3.6 barrier ram in it. So that car is a lot of fun. Just spent the weekend actually filming with it. So there should be a cool little film coming out soon.
Looking forward to seeing
that.
And
the white one is, I want to say, a 67 912. It's not actually mine, it's my friend's. I'm just going to be helping him sell it. But it's got an S motor in it. So that's really neat. And then the one on the right here is another Oilstain Lab special that's not quite ready for prime time, but yeah, it's a 67 912 with a 3.2 in it. And it's got a bunch of custom body work and stuff that we're doing to it to make it our little special build, I guess.
Yeah, great to hear. Tell us just why car design, where's it come from for you? What's your working history prior to sinking yourself into this project?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, really quickly, my brother and I we grew up sketching cars and dinosaurs, and it's hard to make a living designing dinosaurs. Well, I didn't know you could, but I guess you can nowadays.
I'm sure you can.
But yeah, I ended up just picking cars fairly early in life. Basically told my parents I want to be a car designer when I was 10, and yeah, worked super hard to get there. And we both studied in Italy first for a year and a half in Torino, and then came here to California when we were 17 and went to Art Center College of Design, which is, you know, maybe top 2 or 3 colleges in the world for that sort of profession.
Sure.
And then luckily we got some jobs here in California. So we worked together at Toyota, then moved over to Honda. And then I've worked also for Hyundai Genesis, and then General Motors Advanced, GAC. And now I do obviously a lot of stuff with Oilstain Lab and kind of freelance.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, cars have always been something that we've been drawn to, not necessarily old cars and not necessarily Porsches until we got older. Obviously, as a young kid, you just like Lamborghinis and the fastest car in the world, the McLaren F1.
Yeah.
But yeah, the car bug bit us early, and then the Porsche bug bit us at about 24 years old, and it bit us pretty hard, and we've definitely gone down the rabbit hole and been addicted, I guess.
Yeah, sure. Those air cooled motors, they get inside you if it's for you, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, just the culture around Porsche is so different, I think, especially in the 911. There's this sort of hot rod culture, especially in California.
Sure.
You know, we have the R group, and it's this idea that almost like a fixie bicycle, you know, you can customize it, you can make it your own. It's not sacrilegious to cut the fenders off, put different fenders on it. So it's all embraced, and it's just a really cool sort of community. Which is different than I think a lot of other car brands where it sort of has to remain original.
Of course.
There's Porsche purists, but yeah, there's
Look,
also a large portion that's okay with modifying the cars.
there is. Look, particularly there in LA, that modification of even other brands other than Porsche is quite prolific. You know, you see it quite a lot on social media now. Like, I don't think there'd be more tuned Lamborghinis in the world than in, you know, about 3 postcodes there in LA, or zip codes, what you call them. You know, it's amazing what goes on in that town of yours where you're living at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much, I mean, it's an LA thing, right? It's like, what's the latest, fanciest toy? Who's got the biggest wheels? But yeah, it can be a little facetious or whatever. But I mean, here, yeah, the Porsche community is awesome. It's kind of outside of that LA scene, maybe the Hollywood scene. But yeah,
sure.
as long as it's performance, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, good one. Tell me, interesting you say that. Working in the design studios of the automotive brands you mentioned earlier, you must pretty much be working on things that we don't see for quite some time to production, like 5-10 years in the future, I'd imagine. And you must have worked on and spent hours on stuff that will just never, ever have gotten to see the light of day as well.
Yeah, that's very much the story of a lot of car design. Yeah, we tend to work, you know, 5 years in the future is almost like kind of a facelift.
Sure.
When you're doing a production car, you're aiming a little bit more like 12 years into the future. And then the advanced projects are 15, 20, 25 years in the future. And then there's the occasional blue sky project that's like 50 years in the future where we can change infrastructure and redesign the city and like, but yeah, very much like, I would say 90% of the work we do never gets seen outside of the design studio. And California is really known for kind of these satellite design studios. So they're mostly advanced. So it's a lot of long-term thinking, branding, direction mapping, sort of a trend analysis. And so I would say even like 60% of the work we do doesn't even make it back to the mothership. So it's a very outside of the OEM world. You know, we don't necessarily interact with engineers as much. I mean, it depends on the studios, but yeah, it's a very sort of, it's kind of a sandbox, you know, you can just go and play. But yeah, there isn't a lot of reward for getting something onto the street.
It doesn't have to work. It just has to look like it might work.
Exactly. Yeah. And just kind of setting up the future for the brand, you know? So it's cool when they take it.
I know in the post-war boom period of the 50s in the USA, and then to a degree in the 60s and 70s in Japan, automotive manufacturers, they would employ enormous teams of people doing the very job that you've enjoyed doing over the years. Is that still the case? They still have, like, you know, hundreds of people working in these for these brands in various places around the world, just trying to come up with an idea that will give them that marketing or leading edge in the industry. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I mean, I think the industry has kind of grown. You know, now there's multi sort of disciplines and people are specialists in specific things like
Yeah, sure.
there's color and trim, interior design, UX design. And so, yeah, I think the numbers are definitely growing. It's still a very niche sort of thing to do. I do primarily exterior design, dabble sometimes in the interior, but I don't know, gosh, it's hard to put a number, but maybe there's 5,000 globally, I
Oh,
would
okay.
say, across like all the companies. So it's still very, very small. But yeah, a company like GM will have studios in, I think they have 2 studios in China, a studio in Korea, a couple studios in Europe, a couple studios here, obviously in Detroit, and then California,
Yep.
studio probably in South America.
Okay.
Obviously, the Australia studio unfortunately got shut down.
Recently, yeah.
Awesome guys there, but we got to work with them. But yeah, money was tight, I guess, at GM.
Oh, look, I'm sure it always is. But paying the bonuses that the people at the top of the tree have to get paid every year, I'm sure, you know, it comes at a price somewhere.
Yeah, I can't say anything.
Yeah. Potential employer, I get it. Tell me, with your history and across these brands, is there anything, you mentioned exterior design, is there anything like a line, a shape, a fender, a mirror shape, or anything that we would see as listeners or viewers of this video on a car in the past that you can say, yeah, I did that?
Oof. I mean, of course there is, but I mean, I think car design is very much like a team game.
Yeah, sure, okay.
You know, again, you mentioned the teams. I think really it goes back to that. It's hard to take a lot of credit. A lot of designers will take credit for stuff that they just barely touched.
Yeah. Especially if they
For
need it in
me,
their resume for the next employer. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But for me in particular, I've been sort of really on the advanced stuff. So
Okay.
you've seen some of the stuff, but I think, you know, to I guess for my brother it would be more appropriate a question, but he did the current CRX and RDX, Acura RDX.
Yeah. Okay.
Those 2 cars, and a large portion of kind of the Honda Acura branding direction sort of came from my brother and I when we were there.
Oh,
So that's
interesting. Yeah, sure.
like 6 years ago. So that's how long it kind of takes to translate.
Yep.
But yeah, production cars aren't terribly exciting to talk about.
Yes, but for most of us, that's all we get to see.
That's true.
Yep,
Sadly.
yep. Yeah, you're right. So on to 11. For those few people who haven't seen it, what is it?
Oof. It's a pipe dream that started after 1 or 2 beers and a couple months of us having fun with my brother and I. We luckily bought a 911 tub for about $500. And it had been kind of converted into a weird Targa convertible wide body thing. It's kind of a mess. And yeah, we'd already built sort of a RS fendered car, a turbo RSR fendered car, and then a super wide body car. And we were just like, what do we do next? You know, we're designers, we're always looking for something new. And yeah, I mean, we just came up with this idea of like, we love the 917, wanted to build like a 917 tribute car at one point. Love that era of the cars, the Can-Am cars, the Le Mans prototypes. Obviously, we probably won't be able to afford a 917 anytime soon, the real one. And we're designers, so we thought, hey, like, let's try and design something. So we came about with this idea that we'll try and fit it into that era. So instead of, you know, Porsche creating these prototypes that weren't based on any of their production cars, what if they used the production cars and went prototype sports car racing? In this case, it would have fit in the rules in 68, it would have been the rules that the GT40 fit into. And so this would have been our GT40 sort of fighter, if you will.
Sure.
And it's very much a 911 kind of at the front, extremely wide, extremely low. And then kind of a Formula One Le Mans prototype smashed into the back of it. So the original idea was very much a car crash sort of concept.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's sort of grown and evolved into something a little bit more, I guess, cohesive or palatable for most people. So it's a little less radical, but probably a little more beautiful.
Is it? Look, it's definitely unique, and like anything, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I think it looks amazing, but I'm sure there are purists out there just throwing up in their mouth as well. So it's just a combination of what it is that whatever someone likes. I've seen renderings of with roof, without roof. Are you planning on building one or the other or both, or is there a plan to make these? If someone, if you get 6, wealthy Saudi sheiks going, oh yeah, we all need one to go racing down the freeway in, and you're going to go, yeah, okay, I'll build them. Is that sort of like where it could go?
Yeah, I mean, originally when we built this, it was very much kind of our little backyard project. And then as soon as we started posting stuff online, people got beyond like excited about it, and people started reaching out. Oh, I want to buy one, blah, blah, blah. And we've kind of turned everyone down because we don't want, it never started as a commercial thing. And as soon as something becomes commercial, it very much tends to lose a little bit of the essence, or you start thinking, oh, is this going to be comfortable? Is someone going to like this? And so we've tried to avoid that. And yeah, whether that's dumb or not, but we're trying to stay really pure to our vision and build our car. So currently we're building the open top version, which will then grow a roof, but it's very much prototype stage right now. Sure. It'll grow a roof. The roof may be removable, but we need to figure out if people can fit in it. We need to figure out like how big the doors are.
These are minor details.
Yeah, I mean, the car is, I think, the same height as a 917.
Yeah. Okay.
So we've, for 911 to get down there, there's a lot of cutting and trimming and modifying. So
sectioning of the body, I can imagine you have to be a fair bit going on.
Yeah. I mean, we've lowered the entire, we use the front tub, but we've lowered the entire steering column dashboard area down about 2 3/4 inches. So about, was that in mil, like 100 mil, something like that.
Yep.
So you can see out of it, and we get a little bit more exotic section on the dash across the fenders and the hood. So yeah, it's kind of, it's this combination of like California hot rodding and Hollywood magic storytelling.
Yeah. And is the plan to use, the 911 shape is clearly in the design language. Are you intending to use many Porsche components, or is the whole thing custom?
Haven't
thought that hard?
Yeah, we want to use as many Porsche components as possible. Obviously, that's most authentic to the project. Originally when we started it, as designers, we need to set like a boundary and kind of a goal. And so we very much wanted it to be a 69 Porsche race car. And we wanted to be in the Porsche Museum. So like everything we've done, we've tried to stay, in our opinion, as authentic to how they would have done it. And then we've sort of modernized it with modern technology, just because that seems to resonate with people. And we like that idea as well. So we're not stuck with like arc welding and,
Yeah, sure. Have you found anyone who will come up with some sort of solution on knocking 2.7 flat sixes together for you to make a great big flat 12?
So we are talking with a few people about making a flat 8. There actually is a flat 8 that's available in Europe.
$1 zillion, no doubt.
Yeah, it's 850,000 euro, so it's a little pricey. But yeah, we do have a few friends that are very good with engineering that are considering building some flat 12s. It would change the proportion of our car a little bit. We'd have to lengthen it.
Sure.
But then we'd probably go up to 18-inch rims, and we're designers. We could totally hide it, fix it, look the same.
Yep. Sure. And
that would be a hell of a car.
And wood is I've been fortunate enough through my YouTube channel to be up close and film a 917 tribute car that's built from the ground up, actually here in Western Australia. And it was, so I know, and it's supposedly made to the authentic size. I've actually seen a real 917, but not been able to sit in it or anything like that. I've been touchy-feely, you know. And the replica the car that was built here is quite true to the original in proportion. So when you say how low it is, I have very good indication on how low it is and what it's like to get in and out of and those sorts of things, you know. So I can imagine, you know, and the one here in West Australia is actually road registered as well.
Okay.
So,
Awesome.
yeah, so look, not the most comfortable thing to go down to the shop to get the milk, right? But it was, and that actually had a 3.6 air cooled motor in the back of it.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
with a flipped over 930 gearbox.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that all seemed to function quite well. The rear suspension was apparently quite true to the original. I didn't see up close what the original rear suspension looked like, but it was quite a sight to behold in the back of this replica. There's no doubt about that. It all looked amazing. It was all very race car, barely.
Did it have a livery?
Yes, it was in the Gulf colors.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, it was amazing. And coincidentally, the company that made these kits that this guy put together actually had their windscreens made so they're street legal here in Australia by a windscreen company here in Australia.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So they're glass?
Yeah.
Oh wow. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So if you are looking for someone to make creative glass for you, there is clearly somebody in Australia that is capable of doing so.
Yeah. It's I've gotten a quote. It's about $18,000 for our car. So
yeah, sure.
maybe
Well,
it's cheaper.
this car actually came with two windscreens just in case. You know what I mean? You do need to replace it at some point.
Well, I was told the second one would be 11,000. So I guess it's cheaper the more you make.
Yeah. Look, I imagine if you had something like that made, the insurance on the air freight of getting it from Australia to the US would be every bit of $11,000 anyway.
Especially now with the COVID shipping delays and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty awful.
And so with the designing of half 11, is much 3D printing, that sort of tech being used to prototype up the stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of using everything we use at the OEMs and kind of trying to bring it down and sort of do a 21st century coach building. So we do a lot of CAD and a lot of 3D printing. So the entire exhaust system, for example, is 3D printed out of Inconel.
Wow, okay.
And right from the exhaust flanges all the way to the exhaust tips. And we could just do stuff that you can't normally. So normally exhaust is like mandrel bent. It looks a little bit geometric because obviously you have the dies that are forcing the radius on it. And for us, that just didn't appeal. We liked more the vintage F1 look, which was kind of sandcast bent, much more organic, a little bit more.
That whole bag of snakes look.
Exactly. Yeah. And so we were able to do that easier with the 3D printing. And also we're able to control the section through the tube so we can match the port exactly and then kind of optimize it for flow. And just the tolerances, the half 11 is like a remarkably small car. It's so small. And there's not a lot of room for the 8 exhaust pipes. And so, our tolerances are down to like a millimeter in terms of clearancing like the shock tower rockers or whatever. 3D printing allows us to sort of build to tolerances that if you were building kind of by hand or having someone fabricate, it would just be really difficult. Yeah.
Okay. And if you've made this exhaust system and it's an 8, you've clearly got an engine in mind for the prototype.
Yeah, so the original car, or our first car, we are going to be running kind of a LS derived engine. Sure. It's pretty much a race motor. It's de-stroked and bored. So we're hoping it'll rev out to like 8.5, maybe 9,000. We've got a dry sump on it so we can get it really, really low, individual throttle bodies. And of course, the crazy exhaust will make it sound super exotic with crossover headers. So yeah, looking forward to hearing that thing scream. It should have been running now, but unfortunately, yeah, shipping delays, parts delays have sort of cost us a little bit.
Yep,
So we're still
sure.
a few weeks away.
Is there any plan for this vehicle to be driven on a public road?
Yeah, so I think, we talked about kind of California hot rod culture. There's the remarkable lack of rules here for cars that are built, let's say 1975 and older.
Sure.
So yeah, the car will definitely be street legal.
Like the front half of this car.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So it'll be street registered as a 911. And then, kind of as America has this wonderful hot rod culture, like the crazy Model T hot rods or whatever you have, we basically have no noise restrictions or smog restrictions, exhaust restrictions. So the car won't have mufflers. It'll be loud. It'll be very obnoxious. But yeah,
make
it'll
your
be
neighbors happy. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, luckily we have a space where we can keep it that's away from a residential neighborhood. They would not be happy for an early morning canyon run.
Yeah, I often see, every 2/3 of the automotive YouTubers in the world live in LA, right? And when you see them doing their canyon runs and you see these houses, I'm looking up on the sides of this GoPro footage, seeing these houses that clearly cost millions and millions of dollars, and all day, every day, all they're hearing is these cars just going flat strap straight up and down the canyons, whatever road, whether it's Mulholland or,
Yeah.
wherever it is. Every time I watch, I'm going, man, these guys cannot be happy with living up here with all this noise.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. I guess I'll just argue that most of those homes are empty and bought by like foreign investors or people
Okay.
that,
Sure.
that's not like a first home. It's like a
It's
10th
like your
home.
fourth home, is it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So
It's a different world to the one I live in.
yeah, it's a little hard to feel bad for them.
Can you tell me, with regards to the completed half 11 car, what is the plan once it's completed for you guys? Is this like a stepping stone project, or is it just sort of, yes, we can just to prove out there that, within yourselves, you could create this thing? What is the intent?
Yeah, I mean, very much the project, again, it was started because my brother and I wanted to build this thing and we just needed to get that out of our system.
Yeah.
And it's very much a passion project, and we do hope that other people like it. And the idea would be to then build some more of them. And again, we want this to be sort of a different way of making cars that kind of harks back to another era. So you can go ahead and buy like a Bugatti and you can spec the leather a different color, but fundamentally there's still 300 of these things, right?
Yes.
And so for us, we really hope that the people that do want to buy one don't necessarily want the exact bodywork we have. We want to build different ones. So we want to build a long tail, maybe that was a Le Mans special. So like a low drag version. We want to build a high downforce, super wide one for like Targa Floria sort of style. Maybe it only has one headlight because they didn't run them during the night.
Yeah.
Just like a super stripped out, really cool sprint special. And then of course our car will just be the initial prototype. We're going to run it hard. We're going to make a bunch of videos and just kind of have fun with it. I was talking to a buddy recently. Maybe we'll take it to Pikes Peak. He was telling me the entry fees are not that high, and it would be kind of epic. So maybe we race it there. Let's see.
You'll be flipping a coin to see who drives?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, my brother's a pretty good sim racer.
Yeah. Okay.
But I feel like I've got a little bit more real world experience. So
yeah, I was about to say
bank on that.
the crashing consequences aren't so great in the sim, are they?
Yeah, he's just a restart kid,
Yeah.
He's just
I got 4 lives. Yeah. I actually had my first go in a sim on Saturday, a couple of days ago here.
Okay.
At the Porsche Center had their GT racing hybrid sim brought in over here for customers to try out.
Okay.
Bit nauseating for me, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I'd be cut out for those sorts of experiences and G-forces and things that were going on, it was,
Did it have motion?
yep. And it
Oh,
was,
okay. Yeah. Real sims don't use motion like for the real driving.
yeah, okay.
That's just for play.
Yeah, it's this is, I didn't feel that good after it.
I can imagine. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
certainly
I'm with you
discovered
on
my
that. Yeah.
limitations. Yeah.
It's weird. I don't like the motions.
So that sounds great that's coming along. Any other exciting projects in the pipeline, or is this absorbing all your oxygen at the moment?
I mean, we've got a few other sort of client projects that we're working on, that, are just kind of behind closed doors. But yeah, I mean, we did the Safari Alpha recently for a company called Aether, an apparel company. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, a few projects along those lines. And then obviously we've got this 912 that we need to button up. Yeah, so I mean, we're staying busy and kind of in the shadows, which is how we like it until something's finished.
How hands-on are you guys in the shop there? Or, do you outsource everything, or is it are you up to your back axles in Conrods occasionally, or how's it go for you?
We don't deal with any of the engine stuff really, or a lot of that. But when we do, for example, like a Safari build, we built my buddy, who's a designer at Singer, actually, we built him his Safari in kind of my living room. So we lifted the car, we took all the suspension out, we sent out the parts to get them re-welded and everything. So I mean, we get hands-on. It depends on kind of, the size of a client and their budget. Like if they have a huge budget, of course, we're going to outsource it to like an expert who's going to like 3D scan the car. We're going to custom make parts, but that, that's a huge timeline, huge commitment. And then sometimes there's smaller projects where it's just, it just depends, I guess. And then in terms of like the metal shaping and stuff, if we have anything like that, we just go straight to Jake. Jake's our guy, down in San Diego. We just bring him all the projects. Like for the Alpha, he did a custom hatch. Obviously, he's building the 11 bodywork for us.
I saw that Alpha. What do you mean custom hatch? It just looks like there's no hatch on it.
Oh, well, it's entirely waterproof. So we use we use the existing hatch. We cut out the entire rear window and then built a tray that's attached to the hatch.
Oh, like a bucket for the wheels to sit in type thing. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And then a little cargo area back there, a custom rear window. So yeah, it was kind of, I'm offended, just a bucket for no. It was all,
you sound like a designer. Yeah.
There was a lot of time and effort, man.
Look, I believe you. So sorry to diminish the energy you put in.
That's all good.
Bucket.
Life of a designer, underappreciated.
But it doesn't go. Doesn't matter. Look at it.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think, that was a really cool project because they were just like, yeah, we'll pay for it. Just do it, make it cool. So
it is cool. It's certainly unique because whenever I think of those lifted Euro cars, all I think is 911, Safaris. Right. But so seeing it done to an Alpha, it was, unreal.
Do you guys have a lot of Safaris in Australia?
No.
None?
No, look, there's a couple of off-road rally cars, but not lifted to the point of like the Tuttle style cars,
Okay.
Or that Singer monster truck 911 that they built recently.
Oh yeah. That was my buddy's car. Yeah, the one I was talking about earlier. Yeah. He designed that thing.
That wild. That thing's amazing. But there is definitely race car, off-road race cars here, 911s, but I haven't seen there's no one that's driving one around like Matt Farah does around your neck of the woods.
Huh, that's so strange. I would have thought you guys would be all over that. You've got the whole desert. Don't you guys go out to the outback or whatever in desert? I don't know.
Oh yeah, we've got kangaroos jet bouncing down the street too, okay?
Yeah.
Right now.
You're disappointing me here.
You're talking to me like I'm going to ask you if a grizzly bear walks down the main street in Canada, okay?
They do though.
Unless you tell the tourists, don't you?
Yeah.
No, look, in all reality, the desert isn't that far away, but it's a lot of the, there's certainly much more of a trend for the, we've got the trucks we have here aren't like the trucks in the USA. You don't want to say truck, I mean a tray back
Mm-hmm.
cab thing. Ours are that size smaller. They're not that
Mm-hmm.
great big F-150 size. It's more
Yeah, like a Ranger sort of.
yeah, that size. Yeah, so that size vehicle is actually the biggest selling vehicle in Australia.
Okay.
So 4-wheel drive,
Yeah.
lifted, chunky tires. Oh, and dual cab, so 4-seater or 5-seater.
Yeah.
They just fit into some sort of tax bracket, I think, where you can write them off through business because they can carry a certain payload or something like that. But they're still
Okay, so
they still
similar.
fit in our parking
here.
spots. But whereas the F-150 doesn't fit.
Yeah.
You can't drive it
Okay.
in the shops because there's nowhere to park the thing.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds similar to America, yeah, where everyone writes off their G63 AMG.
Yeah. What car do you daily?
Oh, it's terribly exciting. When I commuted, I would drive one of the older cars, but right now I'm daily driving a E350 van, so it's a cargo van.
Yeah, okay.
It's like our camp vehicle, shop vehicle, but my commute's like 4 miles, something like that. So yeah.
Well, with the weather in LA, you really should probably just ride your bicycle there, shouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, we can. I get up so early most days. And riding a bike's dangerous here. It's like, the drivers aren't great. But when I worked at Honda, I daily drove pretty much the Marlboro with my brother. So we would carpool in that. And then when we kind of went our separate ways to design studios, I would daily drive it's a 1974 BMW 2002 with an M20 swapped into it.
Wowza, okay, yeah. Great looking car.
Yeah, it's here, let me see.
Oh, yep.
There it is.
Oh, yeah, nice one. Oh, it's got the Batmobile front fender fins on it.
Yeah, the wind splits.
Yeah.
My little tribute to the E9 CSLs.
Yep. The great cars.
Yeah, they're super cool. But yeah, these were a little cheaper. So
yeah, they are that. those E9s, they are getting exorbitant money here in Australia nowadays. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
there's a really
cool one. They're a design icon.
Yeah. There's a really cool one in Malibu that's that Gulf yellow, the really bright yellow, and he's got the wind splits and like blue fog lights, and it's a real CSL, and it's amazing. And the guy runs it in the canyons. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, lovely. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time to have a chat with me today. It's been great to hear about what you guys are doing there. Great to talk to you again.
Yeah. Hopefully it was recorded this time.
It is definitely recording. And again, thank you very much for your time. It's been great having a chat and finding out what you guys are doing there, because it fascinates me.
Cool. Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me, and glad to spread the word to the land down under.
Well, when you come over and visit, drop me a line.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I need to get down there. It's on the bucket list.
You should do. Look, you'd be the only Canadian-born person that's not been here.
Really?
There's that many of them here. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, everyone wants to escape Canada. It's kind of a boring place.
I would say life in Australia probably isn't too dissimilar to what life in Canada is like.
Like 4 feet of snow, maybe.
No, or dust.
Dust or snow. Yeah, I think I'll take dust.
Good one. Have a great day, mate. Really appreciate it.
Oh yeah. Cheers, man.
Take care. Bye.